Live in my granny's garage, I go by the name DJ Kool-Aid. The world knows me, and you should too. Man, big shouts out to all my sponsors right now. Aqua Equity, Los Angeles, California, checking in. My guy Ryan Morgan, man, I appreciate you, man. Love you. Thank you for all the positive things that you're doing in the community out in LA and Watts, man. Hey, we love you, and the world loves you as well, man. Big shouts out to Superbird as well. They provide all the liquor for this, man, and you know, it's pretty good. I'm not really drinking right now. I'm not drinking today, but you know, big shouts out to all my sponsors, man. Thank you guys for having belief in my dream. And thank you guys for supporting me. Man, today it's going down, man. Live in my studio, live in Granny's garage, you know, the place where my grandmother told me, hey, y'all better be quiet back there. I'm putting everybody out. In the studio today with me, Pimpin Ken.
What's
up? The living legend.
What's up, Kool-Aid?
Man, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing better than most, and definitely, certainly better than a ghost.
Oh, definitely, man. Well, man, we're here in Jackson, Mississippi, man. What brings you to the capital city?
Well, I have a lot of mutual friends here. My man Carlos, my man OG, Money, Gino in Vicksburg.
Okay.
Of course, you know, I know a lot of players like Bobby Brown, may rest in peace, Sir Captain, Uncle June, you know, just the whole set, you know, Mississippi Fraud, a lot of players out the town that I've had the opportunity to meet. I met Trent today through my man Carlos. So, you know, I come here to really just sit down and build with the brothers because we know Mississippi was one of the last strongholds of slavery, and that a lot of our brothers, you know, are suffering for some of the ills and psychological implementations that were imposed on our brothers here in Mississippi. My parents is from Oxford, Mississippi, so I have a deep connection with the Mississippi. I actually own 80 acres in Oxford, Mississippi. So, you know, that's one of the primary reasons I'm here because, you know, a lot of the brothers here in Mississippi are good brothers. And, you know, I just like the city. You know, it just makes me feel home. You know, growing up with two Mississippi parents, my mama from Tupelo, my daddy being from Oxford, you know, I kind of got a lot of Mississippi ways, so I identify with a lot of Mississippi.
So you love the Southern cooking as well?
Man, my mama cooked for me about a week ago. I can still taste the chicken in my mouth.
Man, that's a blessing, man. That is actually a blessing, man.
Yeah, she's 85.
Oh, wow.
That's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
Yes.
So where are you originally from? Where were you born?
Born in Chicago. My parents came from Mississippi during the Great Migration, looking for opportunity in the auto industry. You know, of course, Ford and GM was really big back then. However, my daddy, you know, he was a street dude. You know, he came up here, he started hustling and shooting pool and stuff like that. And he got into it with the Black Panthers. They beat him real bad. They almost killed him. So we had to leave Chicago, and we went to Milwaukee. And that's when my father created the name Johnny Slick. He became a boss player, hustler in the town. And I guess some way, somehow, it was in my DNA, and it made me want to hustle and be in the streets too.
Man, so where did you get your name from?
Well, actually, my name was Ken Ivy, right?
Ken Ivy.
I'm in the streets, and everybody knew me as Ken Ivy. And I went to Chicago to a players' ball that the Archbishop Don Juan was throwing, him and Ice-T and Reverend Seymour. So when I got to Chicago, I was a live dude, but I didn't know I was a live dude because, you know, everybody in Milwaukee was live and flamboyant, you know what I mean? And they really took to me, and the brothers of Chicago really loved me. And the next year, I went out there, HBO was there.
Oh.
They was doing a movie called Pimps Up, Hoes Down. You might remember that.
I definitely remember that.
So when they did the movie, I told them to call me Ken Ivy, but for legal purposes, they called me Pimpin Ken. And that's how the name Pimpin Ken got really hyperbolic and worldwide. And once they called me Pimpin Ken, I was discouraged, but then I went out to the Tyson fight in 76 and 96. And when I went to the 97, he got out of jail. And everybody was like, Pimpin Ken, Pimpin Ken, Pimpin Ken. So I seen that HBO had created a brand. It was a negative brand, you know, because Pimpin Ken tastes like cat shit in a lot of corporate people's mouth. So I had to really double down and hunker down on the name Pimpin Ken and make it a household name. So I started getting on Jermaine Dupri album, Too Short, Little John. I got on a mixtape with 50 Cent, Sabrina Baby Boy. I did videos, the PIMP video, I'm in that, So Fresh and So Clean.
I do remember you that.
The Player Anthem with Outkast, and I did music with David Banner. I did music with everyone. And I got my name out there, and I built the brand Pimpin Ken. So, but the name originally was Ken Ivy. I wanted to go with that name, but when I seen the HBO, it gave me my launching pad and made me famous as Pimpin Ken. Then I had to take the most negative situation and turn it into a positive. Then eventually they started calling. I wrote the book Pimpology, The 48 Laws of Game. I wrote my second book, The Art of Human Chess. I did so many things, and eventually, the roads that you take, Kool-Aid, to get you to your destiny is never the ones to get you. It's your detours, right? So if you would have gave me a crystal ball and you would have told me I was going to become Pimpin Ken, or you would have told me that I was going to be doing what I'm doing now, I like, bro, that ain't me. You got the wrong person, But I end up leaving the music industry. Pimp C died. When Pimp C died, I just had a hiatus where I just laid back. Then I came back with Hip Hop Fraternity, which is the biggest organization in hip hop. We got over 38 chapters, 100 executives, and 38 CEOs, and 20,000 members. We have a global reach of about 70 million people.
Wow.
That we didn't reach over the last 5 years through Drink Channels, Breakfast Club, media, all type of.
And now my granny's garage.
Now my granny's garage. So we have been expanding, and I've been growing as a person, because what you go through, you grow through, right?
Exactly.
And I knew then, after Pimp Up Holds Down, if I change my mentality, I can change my reality. I said if I change my attitude, I can change my aptitude, and that's what I was able to do and become, this polarizing figure in the media where I'm giving out, speeches, and I tell people all the time, I liken myself into Malcolm X. They say, why would you do that? I said, because Malcolm went to jail. Malcolm was a pimp. Yeah, I love Malcolm. Malcolm made a transition.
Did.
Ken can make a transition.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what I'm doing. I'm transitioning into a new person. We building bridges and we bringing brothers together through the African American think tank, Hip Hop Fraternity, all over the world.
So you basically answered my next question. What was the biggest misconception of people have about the lifestyle?
Well, a lot of people, when they look at you, they say Pimpin Ken. Period. No, Pimpin Ken, comma, author, Pimpin Ken, comma, entertainment, Pimpin Ken, comma, businessman, Pimpin Ken, comma, father, Pimpin Ken, comma, the founder, owner, and the proprietor of Hip Hop Fraternity, Pimpin Ken, comma, Boosie's literary agent, comma,
wow.
Ice-T literary agent, comma, the making and producer of the film, for Boosie, Ice-T, Rick Ross, myself, and
which Rick Ross?
Freeway Ricky Ross.
Okay,
comma, the making of the new Pimp C movie coming out, documentary called Pimp C Decoded. We talk about the murder and the sex tapes. Because everybody like, who was in the sex tape? We might tell them in the new movie coming out.
So. A question that most people want to know: how were you first introduced to the game and the lifestyle?
Well, I used to rob banks and jewelry stores when I was a kid with this dude named John Devine. He got out the game. I ended up going to jail to the reformatory school. When I get out, he's 16, he's 17, I'm 16. He's out the game. He had 3 girls. I said, man, let me get one. He said, which one you want? I said, I want the one that's light bright down there white with a pussy candy stripe. So he said,
my kind of girl.
Yeah. Her name was Dirty Red, and she ended up being my first prostitute, 304 they call it in the game, and she gave me a few dollars, but she was a Cadillac to me. I was a Corvette. She was too slow. So I went and robbed some more banks and ended up going back to prison. And while I was in prison, the next time I met a guy named Pimpin Pope. And Pimpin Pope was like, I said, what you doing here, bro, if you're a pimp? Why you here with me? He said, well, I had an issue with a guy named Sam, and Sam, disrespected me, jumped on my car, and I shot him off my car. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, I had a young lady by the name of Juanita. She, I taught her when I take a boo-boo, she wipe my butt. When I get ready to pee, she hold my penis. When I'm ready to smoke a cigarette, she light the cigarette, fumble 3 times to make sure that she light my cigarette. My stomach growl, she feed me. He said, well, when she joined Sam's camp and chose up on him, that's how she treated him. He mistaked that for love. He told me ain't no love in this game. Love is like a 4-letter word like fucking shit, so fuck that shit. He told me that I had to go to the doctor, have a triple bypass, have all the sympathy removed out my heart. Ain't no sympathy in this game. Wow. So that's how I learned the game. And when I got home and I got back in the game, I got out of prison, I didn't have no sympathy. And that was the key. The key is that with a woman's duty is to challenge a man, right? She here to debase you. She only respond to strong men. As my little partner Goldie like to say, if you don't lead, she's going to grab the wheel and take the wheel because you're about to crash anyway. So we understood, that you had to stand on a woman. You couldn't let a woman see no weakness. The minute a woman see a weakness, that's when she exploits you. And she treats you really, really, really bad. Give you an example. How many partners you know that's 6'8", play for the NBA, 6'5", 400 pounds, play for the NFL, got a 5'3" woman telling them, you better not go nowhere. Where you going? You call them, man, let's go to the Lakers game. Man, my woman tripping. This nigga can throw me and you halfway across the room. But the woman have got into his head, created this post-traumatic stress disorder, and repetitively kept telling him, where you going, where you going, where you going, till he got frustrated and didn't want to go no more. So, that's what women do. And that's just on one microcosm level, right? On all levels, women do this. But see, what a pimp do, if you got zero sympathy in your heart, you're like, man, I ain't trying to hear that, man. Well, I'm finna leave. Bye. See you. Motherhead you, motherfucker. I don't need you. I let the welfare feed you. You know what I'm saying? Get on like you've been shit on. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gonna say if you're a pimp. But a square gonna be like, baby, please don't leave me. Why you gonna leave? You know I love you. And that's when she go in and she treat dudes really bad. See, what dudes got to do, as my nigga Goldie always said, they got to take the pussy off the pedestal. Once you take the pussy out the equation and you deal with me man to man, woman to woman, eye to eye, nose to nose, lips to lips, metrics to metrics, what do you have? You don't have nothing but either intelligence or ignorance, right? And we all know that a intelligent person can play stupid, but a stupid person can't play intelligent.
Cannot.
So now you have to be a real woman. But if I don't take the pussy off the pedestal, the minute I take you out to eat, the first thing you try to pay me with is pussy. I take you to the movies, the first thing you just try to pay me with pussy. And Goldie says that we need to cut that out. We need to deal with our women squarely as how we deal with our partners, how we deal with our business partners, and deal with them man to man, woman to woman, and let sex be the last option. So when I say I got a meter on my Peter, like you got a meter on a parking meter, that means the longer bitch stay, the longer the bitch got to pay. See what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. If you think I'm handsome, pay my ransom. If you can't give me no assistance, keep your distance, right? So that's the mentality of a P. And that's how we think. And that's how, a lot of people say, man, how you got this bad chick, man? I don't understand it. How you get that beautiful Puerto Rican chick with green eyes and a body like an hourglass to go out there and sleep with all these men and bring the money home to him, and she run into a fireman, she run into an ambulance, she run into a doctor and a lawyer, and she don't ask neither one of them to sell you save her for Pimpin. What is he doing? You see what I'm saying? And that's where people don't understand. That's what Polk taught me in the penitentiary, is you got to have a triple bypass. You can't have no sympathy. The minute a man shows sympathy, he goes into the book of Genesis. And the book of Genesis is called the fallen man. He said, the woman you have given me, Eve, have deceived me. And I've eaten from this forbidden fruit. So what happens when the man eats from the forbidden fruit? He falls and God says, I'm stripping you from all your power. You're no longer equated to me. You're going to be relegated to the earth for many, many years, and you're going to be fruitful and multiply. and everybody say the apple was the coochie. You know, I don't know what it was, but all I know it's a mythical story. It's the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Bible's allegorical, it's biblical, and it's symbolic. So it could be a symbolic, rendition. However, it equates with the man and the woman in present day society. Women are so manipulative. Women, a lot of them, they want to live off of men that have things. They want the man to go out there and get them. Some of them are gold diggers, but then you got some that are independent, and I commend them. Yep. But even the independent women, they're not going to listen to you. I give you an example that a brother AD gave me. He said, if a man is in an airplane and it was a pilot, the woman and the man, the first person that the woman is going to depend on if the plane is crashing is the pilot. Because he has what?
Control.
The skills and the control. The next person that the woman going to depend on, you would think would be the man. No, she's going to grab the thing, the control, and she's going to land the plane herself. He said, get your bitch ass out of here. I don't need you no more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That's how women think. Most women compete with men. You know what I'm saying? The black man and the black woman is the only ethnic group where the woman say, I don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? They say it all the time. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I'm an independent woman, right? But if you look at the murder rate, if you look at what's going on in Jackson, all of these killings, ask yourself, where are the killings coming from, and what type of household are the young men that's doing all the killing coming from? Single parenting. Women, newsflash, you're the one that's raising the killers, the drug dealers, all of these little knuckleheads out here.
YNs.
YNs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are controlling them. Y'all are the ones that's raising them. So y'all need a man in the household. Even though in some cases me and my children's mother may have not been together, I was in the household. I made a concerted effort to be there because black men and black women need each other so bad. And the reason why we need each other so bad, because the reason why the lion is the king of the jungle is not because the lion's roar, or not because he got strong claws, or he got veins in his mouth and they're very sharp. It's because of his roar. When the lion roars, it scares the shit out of elephants and giraffes. When the father says, sit your ass down, boy. Girl, that scares the shit out the baby. So the father is there for a reason. And a man and a woman, or either are in a two-parent household, and you say, well, what about the women, Ken? Well, look at them. Have you looked at your little daughter? I know this is going to hurt some of y'all. Have you looked at your little daughter's dress lately? Have you looked at her Instagram? Is she doing what? Is your daughter tweaking and twerking and whatever the hell they call that?
OnlyFans.
Is your little daughter on OnlyFans? I'm talking about 16, 17. Why? Because there's no man in the household. And your children are being raised by drill music. Your children being raised by hip hop, negative hip hop, and your children is being raised by Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, wet pussy. I'm a hoe, I'm a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And even some of our more accomplished artists, our R&B artists, are dressing like prostitutes. So we in trouble as a community.
So do you think that the game has evolved or lost its essence in this digital age? So, speaking of...
The game has evolved. Sauce Walker just made $5 million off of some feet on OnlyFans. His girl is on OnlyFans, he made $5 million. That's called evolution. That's called elevation.
I'm stuttering. What happened there?
Sauce Walker has a young lady who show her feet. She have grossed over $5 million on OnlyFans showing her feet. With fools who got feet fetish. So you know what I'm saying? When you think about that and you think about guys on the corner that got girls turning $200 dates, how many $200 dates did they have to turn to make $5 million? I know that it takes $3,000 a day for 365 days to make $1 million.
Huh?
I don't know too. I've been in the game for 40 years. I don't know too many women that make $3,000 a day. Then you got other guys who do other things. You know, they turning their girls into entertainers. So, you know, the game has evolved, and these young people, you know, today are more technically savvy than, say, the older G's or the older P's back in the day. See, when I was growing up, you had phones, you had typewriters. Now you got smartphones that are used by dumb people.
Okay. Now.
So, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about that, you know, society has evolved, and they got better ways to get money. They got fan base. They got all kind of stuff that these women is using today to get money. And I seen the evolution of it. That's why Pimp C said, pimping ain't dead, it just moved to the web.
Man, how do you define respect, and how should a man carry himself to earn it?
Well, the fucked up thing, can you cuss on here?
Yeah, go. Yeah, we need a lot of cussing.
Well, the fucked up thing about it, my brother, is that your gift will take you where your character can't go. You understand? So what I mean by that is you can take the nigga out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the Negro. So character is the first principle and foundation of building oneself. I use the alphabet as an analogy, right? So you say A, B, C, D, all the way to X, Y, Z. Those are characters that's in the alphabet. They don't change. They are principal characters. So you're always going to spell cat, C-A-T, and dog, D-O-G.
Right.
Because these are alphabets. These are characters. You're going to always say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are numerical characters, right? They don't change. Only time it changes is when you elevate and you go get the 1 and put it on the 0. And then you go all the way to 1 billion. That's elevation, right? And
right.
Characteristics, right? However, you know, a lot of people are gifted. A lot of people are talented, but they don't have no character. Your gift can take you where your gift will take you where your character can go. Explain it can. Okay, explanation and example. How many people you know that went to the NBA who got $40 million and blew it? How many people you know that went to the NFL and have $40 million in the bank? So the way you become a man is you establish principles and you forever live accordingly. You know, you mean what you say and you say what you mean. You know, and that's just simple when it comes to character. And you got to be able to have stickability, meaning that if you're a real man, you know that you're going to have more failures than successes. Michael Jordan said, I took about 20,000, 50,000 shots, but only made 9,000 of them. He said, I've been to so many championships, but I only got 6 rings. You know, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a man who has accomplished some successful things, but he was consistent, and he always been a man of character. He always been a man of principles. You know, he practiced where everybody else was getting high and doing all that stuff. So all of that brings about respect. So when you see me and I'm always the same, I don't change. I'm a man of character. You're going to respect that. You say, man, I don't really fuck with Ken, but he's consistent. You know what I'm saying? He's a man of character. He has the same characteristics every time I see him. He does things that I wouldn't do, but I respect him. And I think that's what people respect. They respect people who are the same, who don't change, and, you know, got the ability to elevate. Because, you know, if I was the same person that I was doing Pimps Up, Hoes Down, I wouldn't. Muhammad Ali said, if you do the same thing at 20 that you did at 40, you lost 20 years.
Every bit of them. So,
you know, elevation, consistency, character are all the things that I believe are reciprocated when it comes to earning respect.
Earning the respect. You've written books and built a brand. How do you balance the game with entrepreneurship?
Well, I think that, you know, you can't wash your ass without toilet paper. You can't brush your teeth without toothpaste. You need some money. It takes finance to uplift the nation. And in America's a big pussy. What that means, she for sale. You know what I'm saying? I mean, America's for sale. So all you got to do is find some type of merchandise, some type of services and stuff like that. And that's how you're going to get to entrepreneurship. But any man who really loves his family is going to try to create a dynasty and generational wealth. How do you do that? You rub $2 bills together, you're going to make $200 bill babies. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you invest and you save, and that's how you become an entrepreneur. Creating something that has never been created, bringing something new to the market is entrepreneurship. That's what entrepreneurs do. They do something that ain't never been done, they introduce it, and they capitalize on it. It's two isms in America: capitalism and racism.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's four isms in the world. There's capitalism, racism, imperialism, and communism. And if you want to put socialism in there, you can. We can add a fifth one. But those are the things that we have to understand as African Americans. We got to understand group economics. We got to understand what a C corporation is, what an S corporation is. We got to understand what partnerships, proprietorships are. We got to understand what DBA is. We got to understand what a parent company, what our subsidiaries, just basic business, because business is Latin. When we don't understand the Latin in business, we don't understand, like when you see my jewelry, it says HHF. My ring, HHF. What is that? That's economic masonry, meaning that I understand how to write off taxes. You know what I'm saying? When I tell my homies, hey, all y'all come here, I'm teaching them entrepreneurship. How? Brother, you need to get your credit straight. You see with my Cash App say, what? Ken Ivory Credit Repair, right?
It did.
Because what I do is I go to my hood and I teach everybody in the hood how to repair their credit. Once I repair their credit, what I do is I go to Navy Federal, or I teach my partners to go to Navy Federal. After you get a 680 or 90 or 690 or a 750 credit score, Navy Federal, if you do it right and you got trade lines and you got self-pay and stuff like that, they would give you $250,000. You take that $250,000, you go to West Jackson, you buy up all of the distressed properties at $30,000, and then what you do, you fix your homie credit, then you take him over to Navy Federal, and you say, look, this is your hood, you're on the west side, guess what? I'm finna introduce you to Ken. Ken finna fix your credit. He gonna fix your credit. You paid $30,000. You put another $20,000 in the house. The house is worth $50,000 now. What do? You sell the house to him for $100,000. Take him to Navy Federal. Get a $100,000 loan. You just made $50,000. In America, this is economic masonry. The only way you're gonna get rich in America is off of debt. Any person who think they can come and just take their money and just buy the game, they losing already. This is a debt. Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, all of them, they procure debt. That's how people get successful. That's how you get rich. I owe so much money, it's unbelievable. I'm always borrowing money, and because the only way you can make $1 million, if you borrow $1 million from a bank, you go get a product, or you make an investment, you turn that million into $3 million. The bank want 20%. You get them 20%, right? You got a yield of 180,000. 180. You got 1.8 million ROI, return on your investment. These are just basic things that people got to understand. You got to understand how to pay your taxes, how to leverage your taxes. You got to understand what a trust is.
Yep.
Everything that you own should be in a trust. That way, you don't have to pay taxes, and it automatically heir to your people, and that the trust protect them, and they don't have to pay capital gains. These are the basic things that everybody that's an entrepreneur should know, and particularly in the African American community. If you're African American, you need to understand how to get your credit. When you go and you drive in Minnesota or any place, North Jackson, where all the white people live at, and in the good neighborhoods and stuff like that, and you ride, you see those big old pretty homes. You say, how did they get them? How did they get them? They got them on credit.
Definitely.
And they get low interest rates. You know, the better your credit, the lower your interest rates. And they also got, you could do payday index. You could do Dun and Bradstreet. It's business credit too. You can use your personal credit. They call it a PG, a personal guarantor, in order to use that to leverage business credit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different things that I teach in the hip hop fraternity, and I teach my brothers that really listen. I teach them. You just sent me $40 for a USB for my movie.
Right.
It said what? Ken Ivy Credit Repair.
It did.
So you know I ain't just talking shit.
No, you're not.
You know. So yeah. So that's what I do. I teach the brothers entrepreneurship. So one of the ways you have to know business, how to become an entrepreneur, is you got to understand economic masonry. Business is like same thing in law. I had a situation where I wanted to represent myself, and I told the judge, I said, "Sir, I'm representing myself." He said, "Either you got a client fool for a fool or a lawyer for a fool." I said, "Why?" I said, "What did I do?" He said, "Because we don't use the word represent myself." He said, "The correct word, Mr. Ivy, is I want to represent myself pro se." Pro se means that you're representing as Latin. You know, it's certain words it's certain things that you got to understand, certain statutes you got to understand in order to represent yourself. It's certain things in business. I have 300 words that I concocted. I send it to all of my executives, and they are business words. It's 300 words, and you probably hear them every day, but don't even know what they mean.
Well, give me an example. Give me two of them.
I mean, you know, different words like capital gains, okay. You know, compound interest. You know, basic stuff like that. Okay. That if you're sitting in a meeting and they're talking about compound interest or capital gains, or they're talking about, annuities, or they're talking about stocks and bonds or dividends, these are things that we have to understand. Because if we don't understand them and we're talking about doing business in America, these are common words that I use frequently. So I done concoct 300 of them where I just, you know, and some of them a little bit more intense, where I just let my members kind of marinate, go through those words, and figure out what they are.
So, man, in closing, man, what advice would you give a young street guy that's trying to go legit?
Well, man, get rid of the dead weight. What do I mean by that? You know, if I was walking through the mall, North Park Mall, and I had a 500 book, let's be more practical, a 50-pound book pack on my back. And I walk around that mall every day, all day. That book pack, I'm going to become immune to it, right? Mm-hmm. And eventually, you know what I'm saying, I ain't going to know the book pack is on my back. But the minute I take that 50-pound book pack off, I'm going to be running through the mall like this, because I'm going to feel like a butterfly. Like what Muhammad Ali said, he said, I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Because they call me Muhammad Ali, you're going to feel like a feather. Well, the problem with that is, you know, we love the weasel. It's another creature that loves the weasel. The eagle is one of the most profound birds in the world. It's an American bird. His wings spread 9 feet. When the eagle fly, he don't fly, he soars through the air. If an eagle see a pigeon, he shoots way in the air because he knows he's flying too low. When the eagle see a storm, it goes into the storm, shoots through the storm, propels into a higher altitude. When the eagle see his prey, he can see it from 1,000 miles away. And he focus on his prey. So if he say, I want to get a weasel, he beam on the weasel, he bypass the rabbit, he bypass the mice, he bypass the wolf, everything, and go straight to that weasel, put his claws in that weasel, put that weasel to his chest. He ascend 10,000 feet, then he descend 10,000 feet to his death. You know why? Because he didn't let the weasel go. And that's what some of us do. We keep hanging with these weasel-ass niggas, these weasel-ass bitches, and won't let them go, and they're going to stress us out, and they're going to bring us to our goddamn death. So that's the first thing I would say to my young people is get those weasels out your life and get that dead weight off your life. And believe me, it's okay to let them go, because when God take people out of your life, he bringing better people into your life. And the word goodbye is the word good. Goodbye. Sometimes you got to let people go. You know, it's okay to let people go. It's okay to be by yourself sometime, because what you go through, you grow through. And don't worry about it. You're going to have a major fall through before you have a major breakthrough. Last word, and last but not least, Benjamin Franklin. You know, the light bulb had 10,000 failures. They said, Benjamin, why didn't you quit after 10,000 failures? He said, because after 10,000 failures, I finally ran out of shit to fail in. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to keep on going. A winner never quit, and a quitter never win.
Never.
Whatever the mind believe and conceive, it can achieve. And you just have to be a man that plan your work and work your plan. A man who failed to plan is planning to fail. And so that's why I can tell my young people, man, get the weasels out your life. You know, be persistent. Persistence wear down resistance. Have a burning desire. You know, work hard and raise the bar. Anybody that's trying to beat you on a treadmill, just run faster than the person in front of you, and eventually you're going to beat him. And all this killing we doing, we need to stop. You say, well, what's the option? What's the alternative, Uncle Ken? Well, the alternative is success is the best revenge. When the Bible in Psalm 23 says, I will prepare a table before your enemy.
Come on now.
What God is saying is, I'm going to let you eat in front of your haters.
Come on.
When he said, I'm going to make your enemy your footstool, but he says, I'm going to let you stand on them suckers. I mean, I'm just putting it in layman terms, but that's what God is saying. I'm going to let you eat in front of your haters.
Come on.
Fear no evil, because I'm going to let you eat in front of your haters. Don't worry about your enemies. I'm going to let you stand on them. So success is the best revenge. And before I go, I was like to everybody, go over to IG, Real Pimp Ken _ y'all follow me.
That's your social medias, right?
Yes, my IG. And if you want to get my books, go to audiobook.com. Type my name, Pimpin Ken. My first book is Pimpology, The 48 Laws of Game, a bestseller, and also The Art of Human Chess. And also coming soon, if you don't mind, go get Boosie's book, Cross the Track. I'm a literary agent for that. I put that book out. Or Ice-T book, Split Decision. I also put that book out. And coming soon is a docuseries featuring Boosie, Ice-T, Freeway Ricky Ross, myself, and many others.
Man, I thank you for stepping in my granny's garage today, man. I go by the name DJ Kool-Aid. Again, Pimpin Ken, Milwaukee's finest, Oxford, Mississippi native. Oh, well, kind of native, but, you know.
Descendant.
A descendant. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Descendant,
man,
for sure.
I thank you for stopping by. Make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram at I am DJ Kool-Aid. That's I am DJ KOOLLAID. Until next time, Jackson, Mississippi, the world, we out.
Shout out to Carlos for bringing me here.